Hi, BookTube. It's Gina. Happy Sunday. How are you? Did you have a nice weekend? I had a really nice weekend. I had a book date yesterday and bought some books, which I will show you later on in another video. Today, I wanted to do the Let's Get Outside with Books tag. This is a tag created by Sandy at Ms. Reads a Lot, who just happened to be my book date yesterday. And I wanted to do this tag ASAP because it's so much fun. Now, Sandy is quite an outdoorsy person, and I am not. I would say my favorite outdoor activity is usually sitting on my deck and reading. So the fun thing about this tag, though, is the prompts are outdoorsy, but you could be really flexible with it. So you don't necessarily have to be a totally outdoorsy person in order to do the prompt. So let's get started. Prompt number 1 is Into Thin Air. And each of the prompt is inspired by one of Sandy's favorite outdoor books. Into Thin Air. What is one of your favorite books about or set in the outdoors? And I'm going to go with The Fellowship of the Ring for this one. This is an outdoorsy book, but it's not like Into Thin Air. It's a fantasy about a group of hobbits who are trying to save the world, and they go on a trek to destroy the magic ring, and they're outdoors most of the time, which I'm going to reread this soon because it was just Tolkien reading day, and I read a little passage from this, and it's been on my mind because I absolutely love it. So I'm talking about Tolkien one more time today before I do a reread of this. Prompt number 2 is Winterdance. This is the story of Gary Paulsen running the Iditarod for the first time, even though he isn't particularly good at it. Do you have a hobby or skill that you keep attempting, even if you are not particularly good at? I don't really have any hobbies. I'm not particularly good at BookTube, but I'm learning as I go, which is my whole goal for this channel, is to learn, to grow, to make mistakes, and keep on going. So I'm just going to say BookTube. Prompt number 3, Wild. This is the story of Cheryl Strayed hiking the PCT after the death of her mother. Recommend the Pacific Coast Trail. Recommend a book where the central theme is dealing with grief. And for that one, I'm going to say A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, illustrated by Jim Kay and inspired by an idea from Siobhan Dowd, who I think passed away, and Patrick Ness used her idea with the permission of the family to finish writing the book. I love this book. I love this edition of this book. It is about a young boy who is dealing with grief, and a tree-like monster starts rapping on his window at night. And it is just so beautiful. I love this. The illustrations are dark and beautiful, and this is just a really gorgeous edition. All right, prompt number 4, Into the Wild. Follows Chris McCandless, who travels to remote Alaska and unfortunately passes away in the wilderness. Does the idea of living off the grid or away from society appeal to you? Oh boy, probably not. I like my creature comforts too much. So I like living rurally, which I do, and I love the idea of some type of van life or life on the road, but I have to have a home base, and it has to have electricity and running water. So probably not. Prompt number 5, A Walk in the Woods. Story of Bill Bryson and Katz hiking the Appalachian Trail. What is a book with a really interesting friendship? And for this one, I am going to go with The Enchanted April, which is about 4 women who meet. They're in England in April. It is dreary and rainy in London, and they decide to rent a castle in the country in Italy, and they become friends. It's a beautiful friendship story. It's such a beautiful tale. Sorry, it's a little bit glary on here. I'm going to reread this, I think, for April too, because this is such a beautiful story. And I'm going to rewatch the movie because was adapted into a movie, and it's one of the best adaptions I think I've seen. It's so well done. Really closely follows the book, and just is a beautiful story. Prompt number 6, Adrift, story of Stephen Callahan's time lost at sea. Do you like the water? Yes, but I would not like being adrift. But I love the water. I love pool time. I love beach time. I love cruising. I love swimming. So I guess I don't necessarily love, like Sandy's very outdoorsy and loves kayaking and really water sports. No, I'm not so much, but I love being near the water. I love hanging out, especially around the water with a cocktail in my hand. I really sound pretty bougie in this video, don't I? I really just want to sit by the pool and have a cocktail. But I do love the water in that respect. Prompt number 7, Hatchet. Fictional story of a young boy who is in a plane crash while traveling to Alaska and has to survive with only a hatchet. What is your favorite survival story? Now, I'm going to go off the rails a little bit with this one because I think Sandy was sort of thinking about actual non-fictional survival stories, well, let me just show you what I'm going to talk about. This is Dragon Haven by Robin Hobb, one in the 4 books in the Rain Wild Chronicles. And this is all about dragons trying to come back. And that's all I'm going to say about it because it is such a fun series. Now, this is part of the Realm of the Elderlings series, which is, I think, 26 books, and it's 5 trilogies, with this one being a quartet. Is that right? I don't know. There's a lot of books in it. And this one gets some bad rap. People don't like this one as much, but I loved it. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful story. So I'm going to say dragons trying to survive in Dragon Haven. And lastly, A Perfect Storm, story of fishermen that were lost at sea during a huge storm. Do you like stormy weather? And sometimes I have to waffle on this one a little bit. I'm from California originally. I love warm, sunny weather the best, but I now live in the Pacific Northwest, and I do love it when it gets rainy and stormy here, and you can crack the window and hear the rain coming down. I get a little nervous because we live in a very wooded area, and we have a problem with trees coming down if it's too wet and windy, so that can be a little bit scary, but I do love it when it storms. I don't like it when it stays gray and drizzly forever, but I like it when it storms. And the last prompt is to tag some friends. So I got my handy dandy book here. I'm going to tag Steve Donahue, Anne with a Book, Reed Becca, The Book Buds, and Elizabeth at Bookends and Books. Thank you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.